Peter Parker's newest movie, Uncharted.
That poor kid.
So, what am I lying? Isn't that Peter Parker's newest movie,
I
Uncharted?
mean, the fact that he's built like a child and he's probably going to stay like that size for the rest of his life, he's gonna be Peter Parker forever.
All right, well, let's go. Treasure hunter Sully recruits street smart Nathan Drake to help him recover a 500-year-old lost fortune amassed by explorer Ferdinand Magellan. What starts out as a heist soon becomes a globe-trotting white-knuckle race to reach the
I don't
prize
know.
before the ruthless Santiago Moncada can get his hands on it. If Sully and Nate can decipher the clues and solve one of the world's oldest mysteries, they stand to find 5 billion in treasure. All right, Jason, I'll let you have the reins here. Please tell us about your thoughts on Uncharted.
This is a pretty meh movie. Uh, it's there. It is. From what I watched, I was entertained. Tom Holland, he's a likable guy. He's very, yeah, he's very Peter Parker in this too. He's likable to watch. Even though a lot of this is, typical tropish, white guys looking for lost treasure, not realizing that just finding the stuff would be the treasure, not the treasure itself. But who cares that you steal millions of dollars of gold from indigenous people and destroy countless artifacts of cultural significance that would make you money if you just told people about them? It's all about the fun and the gunplay and the shooting and it's all of that's there. That's the movie. um, if you are, I'm not a big fan. I've never been a big fan of the Uncharted video game series. I played the first one. I thought it was kind of stupid. I never played the second one, which I know that the second, third are much better games than the first one. I always thought it was stupid that you do all this stuff as Nathan Drake, climbing up these ancient ruins, and you get up there and there's just dudes there after you spent like half an hour climbing, and they're just all like 30 dudes there, and you murder them because they're there. And like there is always this thing that does Nathan Drake's a mass murderer. you know, he has killed a lot of people for no good reason other than the fact that he wants treasure more than they do. So, and this Nathan Drake is a lot more kinder. He's not even though he does end up murdering people for treasure. He's not as murderous as his video game counterpart. Um,
Hmm.
Marky Mark, whether you like him or not, he's gonna marky his mark. He is just as Marky Mark in this, and if you like that sort of thing, you'll probably be entertained by it. If you don't, you will probably hate it. At the end of this movie, there's this point where I'm just like, if they had just stopped, like doing the things they're doing, everybody in this would have won with millions, billions of dollars,
Hmm.
and like been happy and like got the things that and achieved the things. But it's a movie, so there has to be conflict, and so this thing goes on, and then and it works out how all these movies works out, where the ends of these movies. If everybody made $5 billion, would there be need for a sequel? No.
Nope.
And there's definitely a stinger for a sequel that ends with on a huge mystery that will play into another sequel. So it's entertaining. My kid enjoyed it. Your kids will probably enjoy it. Uh, there's just it's just there. It's meh. If you've seen Indiana Jones or Tomb Raider, it's better than the Tomb Raider movie, the latest one, not the ones with
Hmm.
Angelina Jolie. It's better than that, but that doesn't say much.
Okay.
Jason's gonna say
Where do I
this is the best
begin?
movie of the year. No, I'm kidding.
Um, I guess where do I begin on this? They shouldn't call this movie Uncharted. Let's just call this movie Charted because
Uncharted
I've never
or just
seen a mystery or like you know. Shout out to my man at Screen Rant because this adventure was barely an inconvenience. Like
it's barely inconvenience. I love that
like
guy.
it literally like whoever did the pitch meeting, and I can't wait till he does a pitch meeting on this one because like nothing on here was difficult or hard at all for Nathan Drake in them. And I'm more disappointed that like all these people have been in this game for all this time treasure hunting and
this out
whatever,
without him.
and couldn't figure out none of this. And this Joker was looking at stuff for like 5 minutes and being like, "Oh yeah, it's just this and that and that." And they're like, "Ooh, who's this genius? Ooh, history major, huh?" Like, hold on. So you're making fun of the kid that just solved this in a matter of moments, and your ass has been doing this for years? What the fuck are we talking? Okay, all right. So it's a movie. Okay, main character.
Suspended disbelief, Jason. Suspended disbelief.
Again, yeah, because it'd be a boring movie. It was like 40 minutes of him just sitting around reading a book, and we'd be like, "Why are we watching this?"
Going to libraries and shit.
Right. Can we just
Asking
bring Leatherface in
professors
and
help.
kill some people? But with that being said, okay, I like Tom Holland a lot. I like Tom Holland a tremendous amount. I think I like him more after watching this than I did in all the Spider-Man stuff, because I always felt like his Peter Parker thing was always off to me a little bit. Maybe it's because I don't feel like he went through enough drama as Peter Parker. Maybe that's what it is for me. So I think we talked about that in Spider-Man. So let's not, but in this one, I felt like I could feel that like Tom Holland could possibly grow into be a really good action leading man. The problem here with this is that it's nothing to oppose him to, because every leading man in a movie needs something to oppose him, like a very either chew the scenery up villain or like a very menacing villain or something that's like, hey, it builds your hero up more. I thought we were going to get that with Antonio Banderas. And I'm like, oh, because Antonio Banderas is about to chew the screen up. Mm-hmm. But I'll let people watch the movie and see what happened with that. And so I'm like, okay, well, cool. I get it. No, it's more about the adventure. But then the adventures, again, it's paint by numbers. And it's just unbelievable that these guys couldn't figure this out. It's literally this adventure, guys, is, let me show you how the Uncharted adventure is. What do we do next? Well, let's look around the room.
There it is.
That over there. There it is. And it's like,
it's unbelievable that they were able to do this, let alone not like some of this stuff is like, how'd you figure that out? Like, really?
Right. So, and then we get the big bombastic finale, which I kind of wish that the finale was just more streamlined and normal, because the rest of the movie felt that way. It felt kind of almost baked into a reality to a great degree. Then the end comes and it's like, it's almost Pirates of the Caribbean-esque. Like, it's just so fantastical that you're watching it. You're like, is this the same movie? It felt like Hollywood was like, hey guys, we just made too much of a normalized movie. We got to have a big finale. Like, and guys, when I say this, think about some of the great adventure movies we've had in the past. Your Indiana Jones, which I know that's a high bar, but even like I talked about The Mummy earlier in the show, the finales from them wasn't as, because it was a certain amount of supernatural in it, so the Indians were supernatural, but it wasn't like somebody had picked up a whole pyramid and was flying a pyramid around in the sky where they're fighting on the edge of it. Like, at that point, you're like, what the hell have we gone into? That's how the finale feels here. It's like, what the hell of movie have we walked into now? Like, I expected Jack Sparrow to show up and start swashbuckling people and doing his goofy tricks. So I get it. Also, I think my last, and I've never played the game, so I don't have the complaint about the storyline or blah. I guess also I just felt like the action scenes here, especially with Tom Holland, felt very like bad version of Jackie Chan-esque. Like, it was like, like Jackie Chan does, like hits people and hurts his hand and go, oh, I'm sorry. Like, I felt like that's all Tom Holland did in this whole movie was like get like thrown around by people. But oh, sorry, guy. Oh, what are you doing? Oh, sorry. Like, it was just, I don't know. And if this is going to be his shtick, okay, cool, and I get it. But I guess it just, for someone that people keep telling me that Nathan Fillion was the inspiration for Nathan Drake or where everybody wanted to play, I feel like he's more of an imposing, well, because looks like a grown ass man too.
Because he's like a grown ass man,
right? A real more of an imposing figure. I don't know if the choreography would have been the same if like they would have cast a guy like that.
It would have been totally different.
And I feel like you can tell, like, and that's the issue for somebody who's this street smart and streetwise. You got to be able to throw hands better than that. I'm sorry. Like, I grew up in the street. We know a lot of street cats that's out here hustling. All of them got hands. Like, Nathan Drake was out here getting like the brakes beat off him a couple of times, but okay, all right, whatever. But I think that's the problem. Jason hit it in the head. Like, it's just all right. And I remember after I left the theater because I saw it with other people, and they're like, Jason, what did you think? How are you going to read this on your show? And I said, well, usually when I watch something, I let it wash over me for a few hours to kind of feel it and like maybe see what I can remember from the movie because it shows me how memorable things were. And I left and was just like, oh, what I suggest somebody Holland, was he? Huh? How was Marky Mark in it? Terrible because he sucks. Yeah. But yeah, that's
I
all I
will
got,
give
man. It's
you
just
that
it was there.
I had
It happened.
I had a more emotional experience watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre than I did this movie. Obviously,
Well, because
I have things to say about that movie.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
But yeah, but it made me
Right.
feel something, right? It
Right.
made me
Anger.
whether I liked it or not. It made me emote. This movie, as you say, you got to let something wash over you. You know, got to sit with it for a while. You know, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, let it wash over me, and I was still thinking about it the next day. Right? This movie, I forgot I even watched it.
Yeah.
I was like, there's nothing here that would have made me like that. I'm sitting here chewing in my mind, like, oh, that sucked, or this is great, or blah blah blah. I was just like, oh, I saw it.
With that being said, what would you give Uncharted? What would you rate Uncharted?
A 2 out of 5.
Oh man, we're rating lockstep because that's exactly where I have it too. Like guys, and I said I feel bad giving it a 2 because I feel like it's a better movie than a 2, but I can't tell you why.
Nope.
Also, so I
Also,
give it a 2.
this is in the trailer with the boats and the things and the helicopter. It's just to me is like, I know you want a bombastic sort of like thing to do your movie on. And it's like, y'all could just tell people there and still make the money, right? Y'all didn't have to fly them out and do all this shit. Y'all gonna be like, oh, we found it. Let's go and tell somebody, and like, and we'll collect our checks, please. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
like that stuff
the
is
whole
like,
thought of like, I need to slit your throat because I don't want you having a split of the $5 billion that we're going to get.
Yeah, like if you just stopped, you would have been like, oh, I guess. And it was because and I guess this is kind of spoilish territory. So here's a spoiler in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. When they find the stuff, they're like, oh yeah, this is way more than we thought it was. like each one, they thought the whole thing was like $5 billion. They're like, oh no, each one of these is $5 billion at least, if not more. So y'all would have been fine. All y'all would have been fine.
Well, 2s all around for Uncharted. we were not fine. We were just, you know what? I remember one day on the show I said, you know, is there ever a moment we just feel whelmed?
Yes,
I feel like this is I was just whelmed.
Stay whelmed, everybody.
Shout out to Young Justice. Hey, how you doing there? We here at the N Word for Nerd like to tell you a little something about a product that we decided to, you know, steal from some people and then sell to you at a very extremely serviceable price. Have you ever been tired, worn down, and just lazy? I know I am because that's my life. But then this magical drink came Nerd Focus. Nerd Focus hits all that stuff in your brain, makes you smarter. Well, let me change it. It doesn't make you smarter, but since you brought this, which is a smart decision, then in that turn, it just made you smarter. So by that nature, it does make you smarter. Have you ever wanted to turn into a Super Saiyan 4? Nerd Focus will help you do that. Jason, you just had some. What do you think about Nerd Focus?
It's delicious. It tastes very good. I feel more aware. I feel more awake now. I feel like I can actually talk to a girl, maybe. You know, maybe ask her out on a date. It definitely has electrolytes in it, so that's that's what plants need. It's very good. It's great.
Well, guys, if you want to get your very own case of Nerd Focus, go ahead and check out our link in our description. That's our affiliate link. So if you do purchase a case of Nerd Focus, it actually does help us out tremendously. Hey, let's get your Nerd Focus on, man.
Focus up.